Yeah, we're ready.
Folks, I'm Tickle Pink. You're all here. We're getting ready to have a little fun with Armando and Cameron. Some of you were here last time. Thank you for being here. We've got a few more people here, and that's great. Last time you got like a kind of overview of kayak fishing and things you might be interested in. This time they're going to focus more on actual detail in rigging. Why you may want an item, where you may want to put it, why you may want to put it there, little things like that. So I think that you're going to find this is going to be a lot of good hands-on information about the things that you can do with a kayak if you're already in kayak fishing or if you decide to get in kayak fishing. And this is for you guys online too. So without any further ado, there's giveaways too for the folks that are here. Thank you. Cameron and Armando, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And so, just like what Eric was saying, is that this is going to be more of an interactive session talking about just rigging our kayaks. The first session was more so on just where do I start, and we kind of did an overview of like what transportation, what type of kayaks, paddle. Do you want to power it? Thank you.
Keep going.
And so, but this one's now going to be more so on just like kind of a little bit more showing a little bit more personality. The big thing with kayaks is that you can personalize your kayak so much, and because we all fish differently. You'll kind of notice that when Eris, and we also have Peter Husser here, he's also a Mariner Sales Ambassador, talk about his kayak as well too. We're all a little bit different. We all had different backgrounds. We all have different ways of how we got into the sport as well too. And so we're going to spend not as much time of just us talking to you guys, but it's going to be a lot more time actually wanting you guys to stand up, talk about the different, like, hey, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? How'd you rig this? Is this something I can do here at Mariner Sales? Is this something I can do myself? And so we're going to be as unbiased as possible, even though you see what's on my shirt and stuff like that. But I'll let Armando introduce himself, and Peter as well too. But again, my name is Cameron Smith. I've been kayak fishing for almost a little over 5 years. I've been a Mariner Sales Ambassador for about 3 years. This is my first year in a new canoe Unlimited Max. This is a 2026 model in the color Tundra. And then Armando, he also runs a Hobie PA 14360. And then Peter, he's going to talk about his Old Town PDL 120 Pro. There's other ambassadors that we have here. That's actually here. They're in a Bonafide kayaks. And then there's other ambassadors here also in Old Towns and New Canoes. All of the ambassadors here have kayaks that are that you can purchase here at Mariner Sales. Before I hand it over to Armando, I do want to thank Eris for allowing us to do this here at Mariner Sales. We have some giveaways, so please just stay back because we got some good prizes from Mariner, Midland, Hobie Eyewear, and all the different accessories that you might want and need for your kayak. And so here's Armando.
Well, thank you again for coming here. Again, my name is Armando Sola. If you want to follow me on social media, Bass Kayak and Beers, I also have a podcast which has a live show every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube. And we also have Advanced Kayak Angler hosted by Daniel Perry, a great angler from Alabama. Every other Monday, he does kind of instructional podcasts where he talks to our tournament anglers and they give tips and tricks on specific techniques and stuff like that. So if you ever want to follow along, get more information about bass fishing. But as far as this goes, one thing that I want to make clear, none of us here are trying to sell you anything. One of the Aris is a big believer of this.
We'd like to sell something. Please don't push it on you.
Exactly. That's what I meant to say. But one of the things that I appreciate about Duke and Aris, the first time I came here, tell you a little story, I had a Yak Attack flag that I needed for a tournament, and I bought it at another store. It cost about $100 because Yak Attack is kind of expensive. And I broke it, and I needed to buy a new one. And I was short of money. I'm like, well, I can't fish a tournament without the flag. And I came here, and I was all rejected, and dejected about it. And Duke looked at me. He's like, what can I help you? It's like, I just got to pay another $100 and something for a flag. And what I appreciate about Duke and Aris, they were like, oh, you don't need to buy that. We actually sell parts for that flag. And you can save yourself like 50% by doing that. So that is why I'm so loyal to Mariner Sales, and why I want to clear that here. We buy everything here, Mariner sells to Rick, because they sell pretty much every brand. But it's up to you which brands. We're gonna be talking especially about electronics, some of the models or brands that I don't like and the ones that I do like, to kind of give you more feedback. But basically, we're not gonna push a product. And Mariner Sales and Aris understands that an unhappy customer that spent money on stuff he didn't need is a customer that's not coming back. So they're big on, like, we want to make you happy. They want to make you happy what you got, feel satisfied with that, rather than sell you a bunch of stuff up front and then stuff that's going to go on Facebook afterwards, on Marketplace. But again, if you have any questions, I don't know exactly when we want to start with diving in, but I will talk a little bit about the other stuff. Like, we all feel about, hey, the crate box, the forward-facing sonar handles, all that cool gadgets. Most important stuff that I want to talk about when I get the chance, it's going to be about where you're going to put your first aid kit, how you're going to rig things so if it flips, you're going to still make it home. And those are business decisions, right? Sometimes people want, like, hey, I got to make sure nothing falls. Well, if that thing flips, you got two choices. Either you're not going to make it home, or you're going to have a long day on the water, waiting for people to rescue you, or you're going to lose some stuff, but able to flip your kayak back up. So some of the stuff we'll talk about. Also, when first aid kits, where do you need to have them? Usually it's out of the way, but out of the way is not great when you start opening hatches and looking for stuff and you got a treble hook running through your thumb and you can only use one hand. So all the things we're going to keep in mind, not just the cool stuff, but also we will talk about weight distribution. One thing that I learned with Romel, who's one of the best at rigging kayaks, he's won several competitions in ICAST that we used to host. With New Canoe, we'll talk about weight distribution, what you need to take in consideration. Motors, is a motor on the bow or the stern better for the type of fishing? It all depends what style of fishing you do, and where you're going to be fishing at. So I don't want to talk too much. I'll hand it over to Peter, and then we'll dive into more of the details. I know I talked too much already.
No, it's all good.
It's too late.
I'll try to keep it short. First and foremost, obviously, RS Mariner Sales, everybody here, for providing a platform in which we can kind of share these experiences and hopefully enhance y'all's on the water experience. Second, Cam and Armando for having me here. In efforts to keep it short, I will just say this. I hope that Armando and Cam dive into all the points that they mentioned. The premise of that monstrosity is because after last year and some of the experiences, I really wanted to see how versatile of a kayak I could build. Not something that did everything great all at once, but in terms of being able to do a lot of things good on their own. And so whether I'm out on a lake in big water and can really put to use technology and things like spot lock and live scope, I can do that. If I want to keep it very light and take everything out except for a pedal drive, I can do that. If I want to go out on the river and be able to have enough power to make it up whitewater, shoals, things like that, I can do that. And so in the short time that I've been on this 120 Pro, it has done all of those things. It does all of those things pretty good. I don't think that you can have a multi-use tool that is excellent at everything, and so I won't sugarcoat it and say that that's the best big water or the best river or the best of any of those. I have no affiliation with Old Town. My connection is here with Mariner Sales. But for the task of being able to have one kayak to do all these things that I wanted to do this year, rather than build out 3-4 different kayaks, so far I'm extremely pleased with that. And in terms of a display, and for y'all in the kayak community, right, whether it's your first, your 10th, you've been doing it for a year or 20, you could probably all agree that when people see, kayaks with motors in them, kayaks with 3 horsepower motors on the back, all that different stuff, it does attract. And so I do challenge everyone here to be an ambassador of the sport, right? And to be able to help the sport grow, because honestly, this last weekend I was out in Florida. Tournaments are fun. My favorite aspect of that was literally joining a couple of my friends out on the river and just having a day with my friends. So it's more fun with friends. It's also safe with friends. And that kind of leads into all the different things that Cam and Armando were talking about. If you have any questions on any of that stuff, obviously after they go through the presentation, they're a lot more organized than myself. Please feel free to, ask about setup, about rigging, about any of that stuff. I take a lot of pride in it, and take a lot of pride in being able to represent Mariner Sales, which from day one has always been just just educate, right? Just educate and allow people to be confident in the decisions that they make. Obviously, they carry all that stuff is from here. So super stoked on that. Appreciate y'all.